وبركاته. حبايبي طلاب الصف الاول الثانوي، اهلا بكم. معكم مستر عبد الرحمن جلال كيمستري تيتشر. ان شاء الله هنبدا مع اول شابتر عندنا في يونت 1 في منهج الكيمستري. احنا عندنا منهج الكيمستري منهج جميل جدا وشيق، وان شاء الله تحبوه معانا باذن الله. عندنا 3 يونتس. اول يونت بنتكلم عن حاجه اسمها الكيمستري، وايه هي الكيمستري، وبتعرفنا البرانشز اوف كيمستري. شابتر 2 بيعرفنا عن حاجه جديده هندرسها اسمها نانو كيمستري. يونت 2 هندرس فيها حاجه اسمها كوانتيتيف كيمستري. يونت 3 هندرس فيها بعض انواع الكومباوند زي الاسيدز والبيزز والسوليوشنز وهكذا. اوكي، ان شاء الله هنبدا النهارده مع اول ليسون في منهجنا، و فيرست تيرم ان شاء الله. منهج الكيمستري بيتكلم عن ايه يا شباب؟ زي ما نشوف مع بعض دلوقتي كده. عندنا يونت 1 chemistry is a central science. Chemistry is a central science. Chapter 1 chemistry is one of physical sciences. طبعا هنتكلم شويه عن التايتل ده. يعني ايه chemistry is a physical sciences و chemistry is one of physical sciences. لو احنا دورنا حوالينا يا شباب، اي حاجه حوالينا فيها chemistry. ازاي؟ The food that we eat. الفود ده بيتكون من ايه؟ من كيميكال كومباوندز. طيب حصل ازاي؟ لو احنا بناكل بلانتس او بناكل اي حاجه، هنلاقي ان البلانت ده اصلا بيعمل بروسيس اسمها photosynthesis process. photosynthesis process دي needs ايه يا شباب؟ needs water, light energy, carbon dioxide, minerals and salt from the soil, and make a chemical reaction to produce the food and the oxygen that we breathe. So our life depends on chemistry. The clothes that we wear, it depends on chemistry. Why? The color, the texture, and so on. Medicines that we use it for our diseases and so on. So it depends on chemistry. So chemistry is the central sciences. All other sciences depend on chemistry science. And chemistry is one of physical sciences. What are the physical sciences? We have 5 physical sciences around us. What are them? 3 of them that we all know: chemistry, physics, biology. And we add 2 other sciences. Number 1, geology, that we call it earth studies, and astronomy. Each one of them has a special field that research it. Okay? But in our lesson, on our curriculum, we will study what is meant of science, what is meant of chemistry, importance of chemistry, branches of chemistry, the measurement in chemistry, and the measuring tools that we use it in the chemical lab. Let's start with the first thing. What is meant by science? Not science. We mean with the word of science all sciences that mean knowledge around us. What is meant by knowledge or the science? Science is an organized structure that includes what, شباب? Facts. Number 2, concepts. Number 3, principles. Number 4, laws. Number 5, theories. And the last one, it includes organized methods for research and investigation. So the word science means is organized structure of knowledge that includes facts, principles, laws, concept, theories, and organized structure or organized methods for research and investigation. يعني معنى كلمة ساينس، معنى كلمة العلم يعني يا شباب، ده عبارة عن بناء منظم من المعرفة بيشمل الحقائق والمبادئ والقوانين والمفاهيم والنظريات العلمية وطريقة منظمة في عملية البحث والتقصي. ليه؟ فاكت، في حقيقة بندرسها يا شباب، بنضع لها مبادئ ونضع لها قوانين، وفي بعض المفاهيم عايزين نعرفها، وبعض النظريات اللي بتنشأ وبتضع فروض لدراسة هذه الفاكت، وبننشأ أو بنبحث في هذه البروبلمز كلها بأورجنايزد ميثود شباب، يعني بطريقة علمية. وكل ده بيتضمنه مين يا شباب؟ The word of science. So The fields of science differ according to. هل كل الساينسز زي بعض؟ No. We have different sciences: chemistry, physics, biology, astronomy, and so on. Each one of them studies a special phenomena. So, all sciences differ from each other according to what? According to three main points. What are them? Number one, phenomena under studying. The phenomena that is studied by the science differ from one science to another science. For example, if I want to study the reaction in the photosynthesis process, I depend on what? Biology or chemistry or astronomy and so on. So we will depend on chemistry. So we want to study a chemical process or a chemical phenomena. Okay? Another thing, if I want to study the animal cell or plant cell and the structure of the cell or the systems inside the living organisms, so we depend on biology. If I want to study something that happens in the galaxies, planets, and so on, I depend on astronomy. So each science they differ from each one according to the phenomena that studied. Number two, tools that are used in studying these phenomena. If I want to measure, for example, an amount of liquid to make a reaction with another one, so I depend on measuring tools related to the chemistry lab. If I want to make a combustion reaction, so I will use a chemical lab or the tools in the chemical lab. So each tool differs from one science to another science. The last one, methods used in research. Methods used in research. Methods used in research depends on the science or the special science or a certain science that studied the phenomenon. So this is the main points for the difference between one science and another science. Okay? What is meant by chemistry? This is our science and our curriculum. Chemistry is a science that interested in studying what? Number one, properties of substance and its composition. So, if I want to study, for example, sodium chloride consists of two main ions. What are them? Na and Cl. If I want to study another compound, if I want to study oxygen gas, hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, so it's related to chemistry. So according to chemistry, we can study the composition or the structure of the substance that we use. Number two, the change that occur to it, like iron rust. Iron rust is a change that occur for iron and other metals or some metals if we leave it for a period of time in humid air. And the last one, we can study the reaction of different substances and suitable conditions for occurring this substance, like this reaction. We have here in this image, we can find a reaction occurs by these two substances and they produce a new substance with new properties differ from the other substance or the substance that form it. Okay? This is for the meaning of chemistry. But we have to ask ourselves, what is meant by, what is the importance of chemistry in our life? Importance of chemistry, we use chemistry in very important process in our life that we call it mining. Mining means extraction of metals from inside the earth. So like extraction of iron, extraction of copper, and so on. This is called mining. So in this process, we have to make a purification for the metal that we extract from the earth. So because some elements are combined with another compound, because some metals are combined with another compounds show because we have some elements combined with another compound and make something called complex. This complex we have to make a purification process that like we will study in the third prep like that we will study in the third secondary inshallah, okay, like iron. Another process, mummifying the dead. Mummifying the dead, this is a process the ancient Egyptians know it in their life, and we can't know the secret of this process that we call it mummifying nowadays. So it's a very secret substance. We can't know its secret now. Another process like tanning. Tanning like, or this process especially for the leather, okay, to use it for make jacket, shoes and so on, okay. Dyeing of cloth. If I want to make a dye of clothes, we depend on chemistry also, okay. And production of color, paints, okay. Medicine, that's very, very, very important process in our life is the production of medicines. What is meant by medicine? Medicine is a chemical compound has a healing properties. So we can use a special medicine for a certain disease, and we can't use any medicine for any disease, okay? So each medicine has a special or has a certain property to heal a special or a certain defect or disease, okay? This is for the importance of chemistry. But what are the branches of chemistry in our life? We have many branches of chemistry. Like what? For example, organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, environmental chemistry, thermochemistry, nuclear chemistry, biochemistry, and physical chemistry. This is some branches of chemistry. And we will study now the interference between chemistry and the other science. From this science like biology and physics. If we make interference between or make combination between chemistry and biology, we will get a new science that we call it biochemistry. What is meant by biochemistry? Or what is meant by biology at first? Biology is a science that interested in studying the structure of the living organisms and the cell, okay? But what will happen if we interfere or that we use chemistry with biology in the science? We can get a new thing that, for example, biology say that we have an animal cell that contains nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane, for example. Okay, let's see it now. For example, we have cell, animal cell, and this is called nucleus. Okay, and around this nucleus, we have something called cytoplasm. Okay, and this is called plasma membrane. This is the branch of biology. Tell us or give us information about the structure of the cell, for example. But what will happen if we use chemistry in this biology of branch? For example, we will enter inside the nucleus. We can find inside the nucleus something called chromosomes. And these chromosomes contains something called genes. And these genes responsible for hereditary traits, and these hereditary traits or these genes consist of something called nucleotide, and nucleotide consists of something called carbon that consists of or a special type of compound that consists of 5 carbon atoms and another atomic group. So this is the meaning of the interfering between chemistry and biology, and know the chemical structure of the organelles inside the cell. This is for biochemistry. What about the physical chemistry? Physical chemistry is the interference between chemistry and physics. Excellent. So physical chemistry is specialized in the studying of properties of substance, their structures, particles that form this substance. يعني ايه الكلام ده يا شباب؟ يعني الفيزيكال كيمستري دي بتوضح لي فور اكزامبل ان انا عندي بروبرتي معينه في الفيزيكس وبفسرها بالكيمستري. Like what? For example, I have copper, Cu. We know that copper is a good conductor of electricity. Okay? And also silver, also iron, also aluminum, and so on. All metals, good conductor of electricity. This is a physical property. But we can ask chemistry why these metals are good conductor of electricity, why they are not bad conductor of electricity or electric insulators. Chemistry explains the reasons for the conduction of electricity for these metals. Why? Because each one of them has something called free electrons in the outermost energy levels. These free electrons during the reaction, for example Na 11 2 8 1. During the chemical reaction, this metal change into positive ion and lose 1 electron. This losing of electrons help in the conduction of electricity. So chemistry explains a physical property by using the atomic structure of each substance and its behavior during the chemical reaction. So the interference between physics and the chemistry produce new science called physical chemistry. Okay? Chemistry and medicine, as we explained from chemistry and science, as we studied before. Chemistry explains the nature of the function of hormones and enzymes inside the living organisms, and we can use a medicine to treat or for help in treatment of some diseases inside the body of living organisms. What about chemistry and agriculture? Chemistry and agriculture helps to continue in the selection of a suitable soil. So we make analysis for the soil. From this analysis of this soil, we can express or we can know the suitable crop that we can plant it in this soil. For example, if we have a soil rich in minerals that can feed cotton crop or maize crop, so it's preferable to plant maize or cotton in this soil due to the analysis of the soil. This is an important thing in our science that we call it chemistry. Something called measurement. What is meant by measurement? To know the measurement, if we have some apple, this apple, I don't know its mass. So this amount is unknown for me. Okay? Okay? To measure its mass, we use another amount of iron or another metal that we know its mass. So, number 2 is known amount for me. Okay? So, we have two quantities. Number 1 is a known quantity. Number 2 is known quantity. I know its mass. You can note here, we measure these two substances, but we measure one physical quantity. This is mass and this is mass. So from the same kind, not the same kind, this is apple and this is iron, no. We have the same quantity or the same physical quantity, apple, its mass, and the mass of iron. Okay, so we measure mass. How can we know the mass of this amount of apple? We can know the mass of this amount of apple by comparison the amount of apple with known amount of iron. So we can know its mass. This is called measurement in our life in general. Okay? So the meaning of measurement is a comparison between two quantities. The first one is unknown and the second one is known quantity from the same kind, or they have the same measuring unit. Kilogram, kilogram. Gram, gram. Milligram, milligram. Centimeter, centimeter. Meter, meter. Kilometer, kilometer, and so on. So we make a comparison between two substances, between two quantities that have the same measuring unit. One of them is unknown and the second one is known, and know how many the first includes the second. So we can measure its mass by this way. So this is a comparison process between two amounts of substance. Okay, this is the meaning of measurement. And after measurement, measurement involves two main items. What are them? Number 1, numerical value. If we measure the mass, for example, I will say 3. And what about the other word? This is called measuring unit. So numerical value, for example, is 3, and the second word is kilogram. It's a measuring unit. So this is the correct description for the physical quantity, or the correct description for the measurement process. Is it clear for you? Okay. I will ask you something. What is the importance of measurement in chemistry? Is it important in our life, the chemistry, or the measurement in chemistry especially? Is it important in our life? Let's see it. Number 1, measurement in chemistry provide us with information about the substance that we use. What about this information? For example, if I have juice, okay? If we take a look behind the juice container or the juice can, we find a table contains ingredients or components or information about the substance inside this juice. So for example, we can find Na with a ratio of 2.5, calcium with a ratio of 3.3, and so on. This is give us information about the substance and its type that we use it daily. Okay. Another thing for the importance of measurement in chemistry. What is it? It's necessary for monitoring and protection. For example, if we have a bottle of mineral water, This mineral water contains some components like sodium, potassium, and magnesium ions. Ratio of sodium ion less than 150, potassium less than 12, magnesium less than 50. And what about monitoring in this case? For example, if we have Na more than 150 or magnesium more than 60, okay, what will happen in this case? The monitoring of measurement protects our life from using these bottles because it contains higher concentration of elements that we can't use it. Okay, so this is the meaning of monitoring in this case. Okay, another thing, if we suffer from a special disease or a special infection, what will happen in this case? It helps us for diagnosing a certain situation like disease and suggests an indication in case of presence of defects by analysis. What is meant by these words? If I suffer from a special infection or a special disease, I will ask doctor for this disease, and doctor asked me to make analysis. For example, CBC. Okay? From this CBC analysis, doctor can diagnose my infection and describe for me the special or a certain medicines to get rid of this disease. So chemical analysis that depend on chemical measurement help us to get rid of our infections. Okay? But we have something here. If I want to make a measurement, I use something, the measuring unit, but what about the measuring tools that we use it in our analysis? Measurement tools in chemical lab. The first one is called sensitive balance. I think all of you know this device. Sensitive balance is used to measure the small masses of chemical substance in chemical lab that measured in grams. So we can use sensitive balance. Sensitive balance is used to measure the masses of chemical substance in chemical lab. Another thing, graduated cylinder. What is the function of graduated cylinder? We can use graduated cylinder for measuring two things. Number one, the volume of liquids. Volume of liquids, okay? This is the first thing. And the other thing, or the second function for graduated cylinder, is measuring the volume of irregular solids. How can we use graduated cylinder to measure the irregular solids? For example, if we have a small stone like this, if we have a small stone like this, we can find its length or width or height. So we can use one of these cylinders and fill it by water. And for example, we will put some water equal 100 cubic centimeter. Okay? And we will put this stone in this water, and the water rises to 120. So what is the volume of irregular solid? This irregular solid equal 120 minus 100 equal 20 cubic centimeter. This is the second function for the graduated cylinder. Another measuring tool in chemical lab that we call it purette. This is the shape of purette. It has two opens, one from the top and one from blue. And this is a tape to control the drops that we use it from this purette. And we can use it in a chemical process that's called titration process. Titration process. This is a neutralization reaction between acid and base. And we'll study it in the unit 3 inshallah. Okay? Another measuring tool called purette. Purette use it in transfer a volume or a certain volume or accurate volume of liquid from place to another during the reaction of chemistry. The beakers. Beakers are made up of glass or Pyrex because we can use it in heating some solutions, and we can use it for keeping the solution after preparing. Conical flask. This conical flask used in titration process also with purette to receive or deliver the drops of the liquid during titration process, and it contains a special quantity of measurement, and it contains a special or a certain liquid or solution during or according to the neutralization reaction. Round bottom flask. Round bottom flask like this, we use it in two main processes. Number one is preparation. Number two is distillation of water. Preparation of any solution. Number two, distillation of water, like the water that we get it from pharmacy. زي المية اللي احنا بنجيبها في كيس من الصيدليه شباب بتاعه الانتيبيوتيك، دي اسمها distilled water. ليه احنا ما بنحطش في الدواء ميه معدنيه او ميه من الحنفيه؟ لان الميه دي لو احنا استخدمناها ممكن تعمل سايد افكتس او سايد رياكشنز مع الانتيبيوتيك اللي احنا او الباودر اللي احنا بنجيبه من الصيدليه، فبنستخدم معاها الديستلد ووتر. الديستلد ووتر دي بنحضرها ازاي يا شباب؟ بنجيب الووتر نعمل لها هيتنج في الراوند بوتوم فلاسك تطلع لنا ووتر فيبر. الووتر فيبر ده نعمل له كوندنسيشن يتحول من ووتر فيبر ل water drops, and we make a collection for the water drops, so we get distilled water. Distilled water means water empty from salts and minerals, so we can use it safety for antibiotic. Okay. Volumetric flask. What about volumetric flask? This is flask has an important role in preparation of solutions, because by using this flask we can measure 1 liter of solution with known concentration. So it's used in preparation of standard solution because it has a mark here to measure this standard solution. The last one from the measuring tool in chemical lab, something called pH meter or pH. What is meant by pH? This is the concentration of hydrogen ion in the solution, or the concentration of POH or OH negative in the solution. We can measure it by two ways or two methods. Number one, pH paper. pH paper like litmus paper, because we just studied before, it has two colors, maybe blue in case of base, maybe red in case of acids. But here we have ranges of colors, maybe yellow, red, blue, green, and so on. According to what? According to the strength of basicity or acidity of the substance that we use pH for it. Another way is called pH meter. pH meter means we have a digits here, maybe appear here numbers ranges from 0 to 14, and we have a 7 in the middle. 7 means the concentration of OH negative equals the concentration of H positive. So here H positive equal OH negative. So in this case the substance is neutral substance because its pH is 7. But what will happen if it's less than 7 or more than 7? Less than 7 means the substance is acidic substance. But what will happen if it's more than 7 to 14 mean it's basic substance. But what about the strength of each one of them? Strength of each one of them يعني مين هو الأقوى في الأسيديتي ومين هو الأقوى في الباسيسيتي. لو احنا قربنا للزيرو كل ما نقرب ناحية الزيرو يبقى more acidic يعني عنده acidic more than الأقرب لل7. يعني for example if we have 1 or 6 which one of them more acidic than the other? Number 1 more acidic than the substance that has 6. And in this case if we have 13 and 8 which one of them more basic than the other? 13 more basic and 8 less basic than this substance. Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you now? And we make a summary for our lesson today. We studied what is meant by science, what is meant by chemistry and the branches of chemistry, and what is meant by measurement, the importance of measurement and the measurement in the chemical lab. Thank you for